doesn't really matter. It doesn't. That's another lie with the soul. So you sit on that and it's already a mind block, preventing you from exploring. Okay, so concerning what we heard, we both sat down, we heard just a few weeks back. My husband, just out of curiosity, I'm sure that thing stuck in his head and he has not left. He's like, oh, Bisi, tell me sincerely, have you ever had cause to fake orgasm? I just looked at myself, sorry, I was speaking Yoruba and I will explain to you. I said, you should have known me by now, Bike. I will fake orgasm. But I'm not feeling it, I don't fake orgasm. Any orgasm you see me express, I am feeling it. You know, so I could see a sign of relief. Like seriously, you think I fake orgasm for you? Oh, you're possible, but you know my temperament. I'm too expressive not to be expressive. You know, so it means it will. Who will talk to our men on this PBF? Ocholi is coming up a few minutes from now, and Pastor Muyiwatu will join me. He's right here just looking at me with one side eye. So they will address some of these issues so that it will not look like it's a woman that is talking. Their wala is too much. Alright, so we can't be faking orgasms. I think I'll leave that one. I just said to, jumpstart a bit. I have one or two questions that was sent to me. At the last live stream, and I want to take those questions before I bring on Ocholi. So one of it was, what is orgasm? And in my mind, I'm like, these are part of the problem. How can you not know what an orgasm is? Somebody back-chatted me, a friend, and was giving me a review of how he thought the part 1 went, and he was saying, when he mentioned that, I expected you to come up with a diagram or explain what orgasm is. And in my mind, I'm like, I should explain what orgasm is to married couples. Okay, so what is their own work? Why won't people just do research? You want to get married and you'll be hearing orgasm. Listen, in fact, I don't think until lately I actually opened the dictionary to actually find the exact definition of orgasm. But I read books, I read far and wide. And so I knew that orgasm, the only thing was like, I was just wondering, so how does the description, listen to me, that the description can never beat the experience. I just told myself that anyways, I shall know that when I hit this orgasm in marriage, because I married as a virgin, so I couldn't have had any prior. And that's another thing, you don't need to experiment, you don't need sex toys in your marriage. The whole thing is for you to explore. God wants you, both of you, to explore. That's why He has not given you, like, do it like this, any manner for having sex. Because He knows you will find your way around each other. Alright? So the first question was, what is orgasm? Let me, for the purpose of those who also don't know, and they are singles and maybe about to get married, orgasm is simply, the simplest definition is just the height of sexual excitement. It's the climax of sexual excitement experienced by couples or people making love. You understand? And the feeling is centered around your genitals. It's the highest point of all this about having sex, making love. The highest point where you hit a crescendo is an orgasm. Listen to me, I cannot describe an orgasm for you. But when you hit an orgasm, you will know it's an orgasm because it's completely different. It just feels like, am I not going to pass away now? Oh my goodness, this pleasure is beyond controllable. Okay? So when you hit an orgasm, you will know. But that's the definition. It's the height of the whole sexual activity. When you hit it, it looks as if your body is exploding in several places and it's centered around your genitals most times. So that's it for the person that asked what an orgasm is. Then somebody else asked, is squirting orgasm? Yes, you'll find your way around each other. Yeah, God knew you would. But then a lot of people are not exploring their bodies. You're just sitting down there, woman, okay, you put it in, come out, you're not talking. How do you want to have the best of it? The best way to maximize your phone, a lot of us have phones that we're not using it to its maximum capacity because we're not exploring it. The best way to maximize your phone or anything is to explore. So she said it's squirting orgasm. And I'm like, squirting, I will need to. And a lot of people don't even know what squirting is. I'm sure there are married women on this stream that don't know what squirting is. So let me help somebody's ministry. Squirting simply refers to the expulsion of a kind of liquid from the vulva, a woman's vulva, during sex. This liquid is not really sex. It is not pure pee. It's not pure urine. It's like a combination of things like urea, uric acid, and all those kind of components. All right, what usually happens is like a female kind of ejaculation. So yes, women have their own kind of ejaculation too. I'm I'm sure some married women don't know that they do squirts. So somebody asks, is squirting orgasm? So I won't say squirting is orgasm, but it's an offshoot of orgasm. When you're experiencing orgasm, some women squirt, just like a man will release or ejaculate. Okay, and so it usually happens from the G-spot stimulation or clitoral stimulation. If the man hits your G-spot or he hits your clitoris in a way that pleasures you, you can like exhale like a man will ejaculate. Yeah, women do squirt too. So this is, it's like you feel like you want to pee. Okay, so that's squirting. So squirting in itself is a result of you getting to the height of orgasm. Yeah, squirting. So that's what squirting is. So if you ask me, is squirting orgasm, I won't say squirting orgasm, but it's what happens when orgasm takes place. And it's usually caused when the man hits the G-spot, or it's gotten from G-spot stimulation or the clitoral stimulation, or sometimes from both. Alright? Yeah. So research says like 10 to 50% of women squirt. So if you don't squirt, it's not a problem. If you squirt, I mean, that's fine, but it's good that you are knowledgeable about this thing. Yes, Rose, it's raw. It's raw. Raw is what happens in our bedrooms. So why shouldn't we talk about it? And people are suffering from a lack of using this tool appropriately. That's why I said this stream is 18+. If you are not 18 and you are here, honestly, you are your own. You are your own. Okay, so that's that. Now, how do you manage seduction when you have people in the house? It's a woman that asks this question, I know. How do you manage seduction? How do you manage seduction when you have people in the house? Okay, it is women that seduce, so this must be from a man. Uncle. It's for me, delayed gratification. She's tantalizing you with the bomb shots, with the big bombs, and her legs are just tantalize you. Just be taking it small, it's a build up. That's part of process. So by the time you guys hit the bedroom when your children have gone to bed, it's going to be fireworks. Learn delayed gratification. Because guys, how do you manage seduction when you have people in the house? That's how to manage it. You just allow it to be building, be holding the conji, so that when finally there is room for you to do back down. Explosion and fireworks. Alright, begin. Yeah. Now, for a woman who doesn't know her body, that's another question. How does she know her husband has hit the G-spot? At this point, I would like to welcome Pastor Moyo on the stream, because we were discussing this, and he had, hi Joby, he had a few things to say. So I'll say mine and just allow him, because it's good that we have a man here. Maybe she move close like me. Yeah, can you guys see us? Yeah, welcome Pastor Moyo, that's my husband. Yay! Alright, so for a woman who does not know her body, how does she know her husband has hit the G-spot? That's part of what we're saying. G-spot, even me, I don't know the physical location of my G-spot. I don't have an eye inside me as a woman. But what the G-spot does is when a penis hits the G-spot, honestly, you will orgasm. You will get to ecstasy. At that point, you will know. This person obviously hasn't experienced orgasm. She said, a woman who doesn't know, why shouldn't you know your body in the first place? For those who are single and a few months to your wedding, listen, me and my husband, we married as Otondozo, as in he wasn't also so experienced. So for him to even find the way into my vagina at the first few days was problem. There's no problem about it. I simply lead him in. You don't know that, this is the road. Now for G-spot, you are the one that knows when you begin to, when you reach an orgasm. At that point, each time you hit an orgasm, you let your man walk. In fact, let me speak to you. It will show you're either moaning or you're holding him tight, and you're saying it, so you will know. For you to know your body, if it's about the G-spot, when the penis hits that pot, you know, because at that point you will orgasm. You will get to the height of pleasure that I said. There's no amount of English I speak, I can't describe it. I never had an orgasm before I got married, and it didn't happen in the first few months. But I kept expecting, I built up an expectation that this thing that they're always describing in books and in novels, how does it feel? How this one I've been having these days? I don't think this is what's special about it. But you see, the day I hit it, the day my husband hit my G-spot, it was a very brief thing, maybe a few seconds. My goodness, I said, hey, I'm going to pass out from pleasure. I'm going to pass out from pleasure. And then after that, Mike, the next time it happened again, I just hold him back. Don't change the rhythm, baby. Leave it there. So let me
basically, I think the first thing I want to say on this stream is that for a lot of couples, the major challenge is that we don't study. We don't read anything. Christians believe that these things will happen automatically. Nothing happens automatically. There's a lot of research that must be done. For instance, for me as a person, I guess one of the most important things I learned, from my mentor, Pastor Debo Additional, was that there's something called rounds. Yeah, there's something called rounds.
Who is saying a bunch on this stream?
There's something called rounds. And please, this is very important. A lot of men just, it's just about, you might actually have secreted some semen and all that, but if you know that it's all about pleasuring one another and you can take your time, you can actually eat it again and then go ahead. Sex should not be something that we for most men, it's just like, okay, once I release, I'm done. No. It's not just that we are released and you are done. You have to make sure that she gets it. And one of the ways she can get it is that you allow yourself to go into rounds. When you do the first round, you go into another round, because really, women don't get orgasm easily like that. Especially because most times men don't understand the processes, like, the pleasuring of one another, the things that you need to do. But all this thing comes by knowledge. One of the things that helped me greatly was that there's this book called Celebration of Sex for Newlywed. I hope they are still selling it in Latana. Act of Sex is not like that book. In fact, that book is very interesting. It will show you all the sex styles that you need to know. It's an educational Christian book. I'm sure some people will be wondering, Pastor, we're talking about styles. Yes. If you don't know the styles, how do you saying that sex is just like for 5 minutes, and I'm like, really? This guy has not pleasured his wife. Because when you understand how to pleasure a wife, you know that sex cannot be something you do for 5 minutes. It's not something that you do for 2 minutes or so. It's something that takes time. And somebody will ask me, okay, what about if his penis is small? One of the greatest lies that we have been told is that big penis is what does it. No, it's not the length of the penis. Is the understand. There's something called skill, and skill happens over time. Just like you get skill in anything you do, skill happens over time. Yes, Celebration of Sex for Newlyweds is a very serious book that anybody who is interested in pleasuring his wife, or the wife wants to pleasure the husband, needs to read. There are a lot of information there. Another book is the book by Howard Mills, that talks about marriage. It's a very voluminous book, but when you read it, there are a lot of things you will learn from it. There's a lot of things you will learn from it. There's a lot of things. There are some things I don't even want to go into now, because if I go into it, it will seem like giving too much value for this live streaming. Yes, I don't want to go into that. But the truth of the matter is that, one, we need to learn. We need to research. Men, research. Men, research. Research. The truth of the matter is that sometimes we think, you see, it's an ego thing for a man to please his wife. So if you are not pleasing your wife, get to learn, get to know what is it you need to do so that you can please her and she can be okay with it. But really, everybody needs to study, everybody needs to learn, everybody needs to research, everybody needs to exposure to understand to what to do so that your marriage can be what it should be.
And while we're discussing, my husband mentioned something which I think is very true. Couples have not learned to explore their body to the maximum.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, so I've been married for 13 years, but it was, I think, just last year, my husband came up with one kissing style that, listen to me, there are 3 things that will make me orgasm. And I'm not going to tell you everything. But you see, one of these, calm down, but some people, calm down. One of it is kissing. And see, there's kissing and there's kissing. And that's why you have to know what works for your woman. Adetutu was saying yesterday that, in fact, she sees kissing as rubbish. It doesn't work for her. But for me, before I can orgasm, it's almost like if my husband doesn't kiss me this particular way he kisses me, I won't orgasm. With a combination of other things. Of course, you can argue that that is also a mind thing. But there are 3 things my husband does, as in, there are 3 bottles, and one of it is, there's a way he kisses. Why am I bringing that? He never used to kiss that way from 13 years ago. In fact, this one, I have like show can be conny, or this one is by the inspiration of the Holy Ghost. You know, there is a spirit in man, the inspiration of the Holy Ghost gives him understanding. So maybe your spirit man was inspired to know how to do this one, because this one is hitting me back, boost. Yeah, why did I say that? Give yourselves time. There is process in this thing. Just enjoy the ride. The man or the woman that was not good in your second year of marriage, as you keep learning, will get better in the 10th, 13th, but by the 5th, we are already tired. See, can I bust a bubble? Sex in itself is work. Yeah. Good, hard work. Yeah. I'm telling you. So sometimes I refuse to let go of my husband until I get that orgasm. Because I tell him, if I enter this, I'm the one, I'm taking my orgasm from you tonight. So if I have to twist my body in a particular way so that his penis will hit the G-spot, I will. But if I don't do the work and I sit down there and expecting the man to know, is he a spirit? The husband, not the Holy Ghost. So guide him, and it might mean twisting your body, see, your body, there is work to be done. And amen. Okay, so I need to round that up. So for the one who does not know your body, please try and learn to know your body. And when you are married, just allow your man to explore your body. You will finally find out what works for you, and you can verbally and non-verbally communicate it to him. I saw Julia on the live stream. That's OKUTEPA's wife. Welcome, ma. All right. So yeah, sex is work. There's a work aspect of sex. If there's no work, you won't just lie down there. So I think I've had enough say. I want to bring up my guest tonight. All of you, if you don't welcome him, I am not. Ocholi, please be on the line. Send me a request now, sir. Send me a request, sir. Ocholi, we're waiting for our guest, Ocholi OKUTEPA. I hope I got it. Please correct me when you come up. Mr. Ocholi, if you're on the stream, please send me. Yeah, we'll try and send this on YouTube for you to refer back. Yeah, so we're waiting for our guest. I'm waiting for your request, sir. Ocholi, are you on the line? Okay, so before Ocholi comes, I'm waiting. Once you come on the line, sir, just send me a request. Somebody sends me this question. Please help address the issue of Christian women who deny their husbands with the notion that he's a Christian. He won't go outside to pleasure himself. Hey! Please help address the issue of Christian women who deny their husbands with the notion. Yeah, I see your request now. I hear Ocholi will help us answer that one. Correct. Now, I hope you all heard the question. Our mommies are married women in the house. Nothing doing, especially pastors' wives. You can't go anywhere to do it. So you are misbehaving. Thank you, Graceful Tabitha. Yeah, we have our guest in the building. Can we have some welcome? People must clap. If you're not clapping, I must see that clap. We are going to line up. OCHOLI in the building. Woo! Welcome, sir.
Greet you. Good evening. How you doing?
Good evening. You know what? Just a few minutes before we came on, my husband, I went to go and steal a look at your session with NHN yesterday, and we were just laughing and rolling on the ground like, woo! Do you know you almost had a revival on that stream? Like, my husband said, you know NHN is speaking in tongues. I said, I can't. Oh, you hear the tongues. As the OCHOLI Christian got to a point, Mama burst into tongues. Even me, I was like, the way this man is going, won't he start speaking in tongues here and doing deliverance? Wow, that was awesome, sir. And I love the fact that it was all Bible-based, Christian, from a Christian perspective. Well done, sir, on all the work.
Thank God.
Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, great, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so somebody asked a question just before you came in. Did you hear the question?
No. I was going up and on. I was trying to make sure I'm still fine with my network, but I think I'm good now. So we can take it from there. So I missed some part of it.
Oh, okay, let me take the question again. Somebody was saying that, and it's a man that sent to me, that we should address the issue of women deny their husband's sex with, especially Christian women. Please help address the issue of Christian women who deny their husband's sex with the notion that he's a Christian. He won't go outside to pleasure himself. All right, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to throw light today, and what I try to do when I answer these questions when you come to sex, you are dealing with a very sensitive area. So what I try to do, and that's, since you referred to yesterday, part of what I try to do is to give more counsel than opinion. All right? Now, when I give counsel, I'm able to back it up with the word of God. Now, let me say this to you, first of all, to the man answering that question, that whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, Buddhist, or anything, you are dealing with marriage. Marriage is done in the flesh. All right? Now, if marriage is done in the flesh, then the pressures of marriage are pressures that are experienced in the flesh. So it doesn't matter that your husband is a Christian and you're a Christian. Sexual drives are fleshy. They're in the flesh. I mean, sexual drive are not spiritual things, all right? Now, there's a straight answer from the Bible. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 answers that woman or answers that man perfectly. Now, if you go to verse 5 or thereabout, I prefer the Message translation when I'm addressing this subject. Message combines verses number 2 to 6 together. But the end of it, that's about verse 5 and 6, clarifies this point simply without more. When it says that marriage is not a place to stand up for a right. Marriage is a decision to serve one another, whether in bed or out. Abstaining from sex is permissible for a period of time if you both agree. Now, whether to have sex or not to have sex must be a question of mutual agreement. To have sex, not to have sex must be a question of mutual agreement. All right? The scripture goes to explain. It says, abstaining from sex is permissible for a period of time if you both agree to it and if it is for the purpose of prayer and fasting. In fact, this is the reason scriptures give us. You know, some of those lie headache people used to use and say they're having a headache. Leave it. Correct. Of spiritual activity. All right? Now, it goes on to something very important. Then come back together again. Satan has an ingenious way of tempting us when we least expect it. So you can be exposing your partner to the ingenuity of Satan. Right? Now, once you begin to think this way, you begin to respect the urges of your partner, because you may expose them to temptation. This evening I was speaking to somebody, not even in Nigeria, and I said to them, look, let me be honest with you, the mistake in your marriage began when you were residentially separated. You are living in that country with the children, the man is living in so and so place. That is wrong. Why? You are exposing yourself to the ingenuity of Satan. All right. So we need to be practical and real about these things. Sexual drives. Now, there's a part of it I also need to read to create the balance. When Paul began to answer this question, there's what he said. You know, they asked him about sex. And in verse 1, he says, concerning the question you asked me. In verse 2, he begins to say, certainly, only within a certain context. A man should have a wife should have a husband. But he now said, sexual drives are strong. But marriage is strong enough to contain it. So when that's right, that sexual drives are strong, but marriage is strong enough to contain it, you now realize that you are the container. The question I'll ask you in rounding up the answer is, why should the container refuse to contain? If you don't contain your spouse, they are uncontained. So why don't you contain? The container should what? Contain. To
contain, simple. Glory. Thank you so much, sir. Okay. I have a funny question here, but I really want you to answer it. So we often hear that sex is a raw need for a man, not even a want. Do you agree with that?
Well, I've always said that there are lots of misconceptions as to who has more libido or who has need. Coming quickly is common amongst men. Does not mean that sex is a raw need for the man more than the woman. In fact, in my book, Mutual Coming, I argue that women can have more same libido level. All right? So here's the point. We all are sexual. As far as you have flesh, underlying medical condition, doctors study in your sexuality, you have sexual need. That's why 1 Corinthians chapter 7 clearly identifies that sex drives are strong. All right? Now, here's the two things affect us. Number one, culture. Culture has a way of conditioning our thinking. For instance, in the African culture, we have surreptitiously excused the man to be weaker. Because we grew up seeing cheat and it's normal. In fact, we grew up, all of us till today, watching girls cheat with men and think it is okay. So you see a girl today post about women rights activism, sending women, tomorrow sleeping with another person's husband and feeling smart. All right? Because culturally, we have given permission to the man to do and undo. And here is the point. Subconsciously, we have made the man so conscious of his sexual need. But every girl was, while growing up, to protect herself, to value herself. So she has a protection cover for her sexuality. In fact, you have a lot of women who get married. After they have sex with their husband, they're going to be confessing their sin privately. Because a sin consciousness was put on them all their life about sex. So they are married, but they still don't believe that sex is okay. So it's a mind thing. That goes on. One of the things you need to help your wife do is to unleash her sexuality. Like when I got married, the truth is, my wife was so traditional. My wife was so, she had a lot of this kind of mindset I'm talking about. So it was my responsibility to unleash her sexuality. All right? I
love that.
Make her understand that this is meant to be enjoyed. The truth is, and for especially if we have young couples in, the first 9 months of our marriage, up to 10 months, because she took in pretty immediately. Then we had our son 10 months in or so. Now, those first 9-10 months were not funny for us. Not that we're not having sex, but it came to the point, I used to tell my wife, it came to the point where it looked like I had resigned to faith. I would just be frustrated for the rest of my life. That's how it felt. Because I came in unleashed. She came in learning. I didn't live a rough life. Because I still remember being on NYC camp and some ladies were challenging me. How can you say you're a virgin? How can you say you're a virgin? This. In fact, it was a lady challenging me in NYC camp that how can she stay here 2 weeks and not have sex? And I was surprised, like, you are single. Then I was 24. They mocked at me like something is wrong with you. But when it comes to exploration, entering trouble, as child of God as I was, carelessly not watching my way, then the girl will come and trap me in one hard corner. Me, I had entered enough trouble in my life. But you not do the thing. You just stop somewhere. I had entered all manner. My wife lived a more righteous life. Let me put that word that way. Compared to me, My head was boiling, but Auntie was trying to even learn, So now, let me tell you the truth. That time, it looked like I was the one with the sex drive. Right now, we are competing. Simple. Unleashing. And there are other factors, like I said, I explain more in the book. There are other factors, apart from when the woman is unleashed, that also further the capacity of both parties to be okay. What are those factors? An average African woman overwhelmed with her secular job, overwhelmed with you called a husband, overwhelmed with children, overwhelmed with house chores, overwhelmed with everything. The woman is bored. You just want to come back and have dinner. You just want to come back and the house is clean. She's the homemaker. She's a career woman. She is this. If you unburden your woman, you will unleash her. I repeat. If you unburden your woman, you will unleash her.